All right, here's the big reveal. Check out this behemoth. Wasn't necessarily thinking about the size of this. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's certainly bigger than I anticipated. Clearly had dimensions associated with, but this is a engine stand, and it's clearly meant for diesel type automotive engines. You can see the company, Longhorn. It's obviously, let's see if I can get this angled, made in the USA right there. In fact, it's so good you can see my reflection in there. It has Longhorn Fab Shop. There we go, right there. Anyway, you get the idea. You know me, I'm always going above and beyond. So I don't have, this thing did not come with I know they have online specs on it, but I remember the casters are like 1,200 pounds each. And then the two in the back are the lock-in swivel casters. The two in the back. This one looks like it got bent up slightly, so I'm just gonna have to bend it back. But I mean, so far it's not affecting the functionality. Got these end caps. For some reason I thought it was bolted to the side. And they do have like two models to this. One that is just like this main frame, and you can be bolted to the floor, and then you have this one that you can roll it around. Clearly a very bulky piece of machinery delivered by freight, not something that you're going to pick up. I was able to lift it by the motor in the back. Well, I'm not even going to say I lifted. I moved it slightly, just by lifting from underneath here, just to see. Clearly the main structure is right here, so it's going to be heavy. Probably some grade A bolts here for the mounting frame. I mean, you can see how thick this is. Like, this is probably 3/4 inch thick plate right here. It's the width of my thumb. Steel plate here, like one solid piece, and then you have all these like brackets back here to this attached to this this rod. Yeah, they sell adapters for this, but I don't have any diesel, so if I need to use this, I'm just gonna have to build my own adapters or make it makeshift. On this side, obviously, you got the Longhorn. It's probably about 4 feet tall. I imagine. I'll have to do I do have a tape measure accessible. See how tall this bad boy is real quick. Yeah, it's about 4 feet. To the center, it's about 43.5. It's about 43.5 to the center. Inches, about 4 feet tall. Yes, 4 feet tall. And then from the ground to the base of that thing, it's about 7.5 inches to the base of the platform. As far as like width, or the inner diameter here, yeah, I'm glad that stuff is magnetic. It's about 32 inches. And then it's from the main frame to the back here to the edge here, it's 38. I want to say those are 6-inch casters. I didn't prepare to come out with specs to talk about this, but it's electrically controlled, so it's plugged into a standard 110 outlet, or maybe it's 120, I'm not sure. I didn't want to use an extension cord because I don't want to trip my breaker in behind that box, because yeah, I still want to use those plugs on the front of that, so that's why this is plugged into a wall and not an extension cord. It looks like this wire is a 12 gauge 3-strand wire, and you can see the additional specs there. So I'd at least need a 12 gauge extension cord, which I do believe that is 12 gauge. Yep. So that my extension reel is 12 gauge up there, but still I wouldn't want to plug it into a 65-foot reel. Got this foot switch, G&W FS502. Max amp is 15, so that's perfect. Voltage 110, 220 volts. So you could work it off a 220, 15 amp outlet. Foot switch, it's plugged in, so you might hear something. Actually, it's on speed 0, so you're not gonna hear anything. But pretty light aluminum covering that guards your feet, but well made, nicely painted. You got a couple holes on there, so you could in theory mount it right here if you wanted. Drill a couple of screws or wherever you want to mount it. You could in theory mount it on there, or you could just leave it for the mobility aspect of it, because you got those rubber grip pads. And then this actual platform, very, very positive on the spring return. I mean, very, very positive. You can operate it by hand in theory. This cord is about, it's probably about 6 feet long. I want to say the cord here, just by my best guesstimate. Same thing for the power cord is about 6 feet long. And then you got these steel braided ends on it that kind of protect it from, twisting and binding. You got these 3 connections. You got power from the controller head to the motor, and then from this to this. So pretty robust. It's a KB Genesis. It didn't come with a manual, so I'm gonna have to ask more about specs and stuff. But it looks like this controller is multi-purpose, but these don't have any functions. This auto start and whatever this is does not have a function. I thought they were like push buttons. But then you have this AC motor speed control hybrid drive. It just increases the speed. And then you have the one toggle here, reverse, which definitely has a positive catch on it. Forward, stop, reverse, and it has a positive catch. You got a power and a status light. It seems like power is normal, and then this flashing light is also normal, orange light. And then I'm gonna engage the foot pedal. So I'm just wearing flip-flops, and I mean, you can see my foot fits in there just fine. It fits in there just fine. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna put it on speed 10. I'm gonna put it in reverse down, and then I'm gonna activate the foot switch. And you can see it is going. I'm not sure if you can switch it, stop, and then forward all in the same motion, but I'm gonna just take my foot off the foot pedal, go to forward. I'm gonna crank it up to 50 just for the sake of this video. Forward, and then I'm gonna go foot pedal, and you can hear the motor. That's electrical juice passing through there, and you can see how fast it's going. All right. Stop just means probably don't use it. And then if you look at the status light when I engage it, so it's flashing, and then look at the status light. It just changes to green. So I imagine that's normal for it to flash that. Let's crank it up to 100, and we'll keep it in forward, and I'll activate the foot, and you'll see how fast it goes. A little rotisserie action there. And that's why this doesn't have a manual, so I don't know about duty cycles or anything on this. Let's see. Maybe I can look online and find a manual for this thing. There we go. KABC 24D. So I'll look it up. Gotta activate this motion sensor light. Again, pretty nice, artwork here. It's not too sharp. It's a little bit, it might be a little bit sharp if you rub your hands against it, but I mean, you shouldn't have to do that, and it's riveted, but pretty nice touch to it. The paint job is solid. It has a little scratch right here, but it's a piece of machinery. This thing right here, you can tell it's robust, it's well made. Like, let's see. This said it was assembled in the United States. Sorry, I have my hands on my knee if it's a bit shaky. So yeah, a lot of technical specs, but it looks like you got a little eyelet here, probably for lifting and servicing this thing, because I imagine this thing is heavy if you go to pull it off, so I imagine that's why they have that there. Then you have these grade A like hex bolts. Honestly, these resemble the bolts that are used on my lift right there. Yeah, you can see they're pretty sturdy. They resemble that. So you got this controller head, KABC, and who makes this? Brothers, yeah, Brother something. But it's pretty robust. I don't know what else to say about it. Clearly, this takes up a huge chunk of my garage because it's huge, but I'm not buying stuff to limit myself to this garage. I've bought many stuff where you buy it because of the space you have. And yeah, that's a good consideration, but eventually I'm gonna have a shop or a big outdoor space to where this stuff will be small compared to the space I have, but I want to get it when I can, and this was the time that I could, so I decided to pull the trigger on it. Clearly you can buy these, like just the smaller ones that you can manually control, but I think there's so many more options with something like this. Clearly the capacity is there. Having my own shop eventually, the capacity is there. If you want to branch out into like diesel, I mean, certainly this will be more to handle your gasoline cars. And you can put even a rotisserie on here or something if you wanted. I want to know what the tongue weight or whatever you want to call how much weight you can have on this, and how far out you can stretch beyond this before it's a tipping hazard. So clearly there's all those limitations that I am actually not aware of, but as a functional machine, an engine stand, this goes above and beyond your typical homeowner grade engine stand. And most people in the comment are going to say, dude, what are you doing? I'm going to say, watch and see, and leave it at that. I don't even know what I'm doing, so don't ask me. Pretty well built. I'm actually impressed. I mean, the business end of the machine is over here, but the heart of the machine is over here. And if this thing was to fail electrically, what's the ramifications of being able to use this thing? Can you still crank it? And that's to be determined. As far as warranty, I remember having a discussion about warranty, but since I won't even be using it in a professional grade environment for a while, the warranty will probably be non-existent by then, and I'll have to get it figured out and serviced. But I think with proper care and usage, such as just not using this with a 16 gauge wire when it's clearly rated for a 12 gauge, 12 to 16 to an outlet doesn't really cut it. So get in the appropriate size condition, and then, keep it in tip-top shape. It's not a cheap piece of machinery, but it's a quality piece of machinery, and that's what I'm looking for, and that's what at this point in my life, I'm willing to invest in quality over quantity. Clearly, this is quality and quantity in terms of size. As far as fit in, I mean, that side of my garage is pretty much unusable as it stands because I got this thing and several more stuff in the way. So eventually, I'm gonna slide this over there just to get it out of the way. I'll be able to fit it right there and fit everything else in between the leg, while I'm still trying to figure out my life over here. So my wife can still park in here, but for tonight, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna leave it right here so I can keep playing with it in the morning. But yeah, it's an engine stand. It's a huge engine stand. Let's see, activate. And I'm pretty sure we can move this. I did. So it's in this max speed right now, and we can just dial it back. Dial it back. It's always weird when you have a piece of machinery and you have no idea what it's supposed to sound like. So that sound it was making. So about right here is when it was making that noise. Yeah, maybe it's not meant to be operated maybe it's not meant to be in motion, and the controls operate at the same time. So I'm gonna go with that precaution. It's just like, don't be adjusting this when it's in motion, because I'm not sure. Because I don't like the sound of that. Well, it's making that noise again. Yeah, so I don't know. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is a big ass engine stand. I forgot how much pound is whatever it's rated for. I'll do another video on it. But it's an impressive piece of machinery. You can't turn this by hand. But yeah, like I was saying, you can pick engine stand-ups for anywhere from probably like $200 up to what it costs for this stuff, which is an arm and a leg. But I will never need another engine stand ever again. And that's where I'm at with acquiring stuff. Buy once, cry once, overkill, and yeah. If you can afford quality, get quality. But yeah, pretty elaborate setup here. Anyway, as me always say, like on a hit a thing.